So James, mate, you've worked with some of Australia's top entrepreneurs, people like Simon Beard, who sold Culture Kings for 600 mil. How important is his physical health in creating business success like that?
It's
James Matolich is an Australian boxer, martial artist, fitness coach, and founder of JM Peak Performance, a coaching company that helps entrepreneurs and high achievers improve their health and performance.
If someone's looking to make a change and perhaps they're in a corporate role and you think they might want to start a business, my bias is I'd say actually go and sort your physical routine and your daily habits out before, so you can become the person that can actually go and perform in business. What are your thoughts there?
That's 100% true. And like I said to you before, like you'll only get to a certain level before something happens and you're forced to probably take your health a little bit more seriously. So I think every single human should at least track their food for 1 month. They're going to get a rude shock when they realise how much they're overeating or how much they're undereating.
I reckon it's one of the biggest traits of every single high performer I know. I'd say that 99% of them are awake before. So James, mate, you've worked with some of Australia's top entrepreneurs, people like Simon Beard, who sold Culture Kings for 600 mil. How important is his physical health in creating business success like that?
It's everything to him, as you would have seen, like how much he preaches his health and well-being. I find people at any level, but especially to get to that level, like you really got to prioritise your health, and you'll only get so far burning the candle at both ends before your body will force some sort of an illness or something. And not that he had that anyway, but that it just seems to be a lot of people, like entrepreneurs and stuff, high performers, they sacrifice their health to make wealth. And then what happens is they reach this financial status or build this company up to a particular size, and then they're reversing the roles and they're trying to spend that wealth to get their health back. So if you can balance it out along the way, you'll probably do much better and everything will be better. So yeah, he loves he's obsessed with his health. I'm with him 5 days a week at his place, and yeah, he's just awesome. He's right into all these longevity hacks, all that sort of stuff. Like his setup is insane. Yeah, he's awesome to work.
I think Simon Beard, and you go, he must have the most high tech, mental kind of routine and structure and what he does. Is that the case? Is he sat in these kind of cryo chamber machines every day, or is he just nailed the fundamentals and the basics?
Yeah, his training has changed a lot when I came on board, and he's trusted in me and stuff, and the results are sort of shown from that. But yeah, he's got all the fancy equipment and stuff. But again, like we sort of measure and we adapt as things go on. So things like the cryo chamber, we don't do it every single day now, because there's lots of study out there saying that if your goal's hypertrophy, that if you do cold plunging or something like that within 6 hours of doing your workout, it can reduce hypertrophy gains.
I've seen that, yeah.
We're like, all right, man, let's only do this a couple of days a week now. And we just, we've recently made a change a few months ago where I was training him at 5 a.m. every day. And we're like, look, we want to improve your recovery a little bit better, like through your whoop. Let's train an hour later, get you a better evening wind down routine. He's, doing breath work and stuff in the morning before me getting there now. And his stats have improved heaps,
Yeah, wow. I've seen as well that they've been saying out there that it's more beneficial for people to actually go and do an ice bath before they go and lift weights rather than after, because it actually gets, I'm sure James will actually tell us the problem. What I've heard is that it causes like the blood to get pumping to the muscles, whereas when you do it afterwards, it can actually stop some of that growth.
It also fires you up too, like I don't have an ice bath, but I do them, a couple of days a week, but I start every single morning with a cold shower, and it's just like, bang, let's go, so it really can fire you up. But so the idea behind that is like the ice bathing after is the body creates an inflammatory response when you tear. So say you do a bench press, you tear the fibers in your chest, and then the body creates an inflammatory response, and then through having like high protein diet, the muscles will repair and build and grow. It takes a period of time for that to happen. But if you go and ice bath, that will just reduce that inflammation process, and it can actually prevent it.
Yeah, wow. With something that's always fascinated me is how there's always seems to be a correlation between super successful people, whether it's in career, whether it's in business, and then being in their peak physical state. If someone's looking to make a change and perhaps they're in a corporate role and you think they might want to start a business, my bias is I'd say actually go and sort your physical routine and your daily habits out before, so you can become the person that can actually go and perform in business. What are your thoughts there?
That's 100% true. You know, like I said to you before, like you'll only get to a certain level before something happens and you're forced to probably take your health a little bit more seriously. So definitely, but you know, not everyone's into exercising and being healthy, you know, and they got to make that identity switch, you know, they got to really work out what it is that they're trying to achieve and work out the best path to get there. And a lot of the time being healthy is going to help you get there faster. So yeah.
For people who don't know, mate, what's the context of your life and your journey and story to get you now working with, you know, Simon Beard, who's probably one of the hottest and sexiest, you know, business owners, entrepreneurs going at the moment with everything he's doing online?
So me, mate, how it started with me, I grew up in Sydney and moved up here when I was 15 and didn't finish my year 10 certificate. Like I went to school up here, didn't really enjoy it. And then, yeah, I became a chef. So my mum was always like, you need to do an apprenticeship. So you got something to fall back on. And then that was the only apprenticeship I could really get without a year 10 certificate. So I got a chef's apprenticeship, became a chef, but I was like always very overweight as a kid. And then basically got into Thai boxing and lost a heap of weight. I lost 34 kilos on my journey from heaviest to lightest. And that positive impact that it had on my life from there, I just wanted to make that my career. You know, I was looking at senior chefs going, you know, this is not me. I don't want this part. And just got into being a personal trainer. I worked out of a gym in Burleigh to start. I was there for a couple of years. Then I actually moved to Thailand. I had a sponsorship over there for Thai boxing and to be a trainer in a gym over there in Koh Samui. When I returned from there, worked out of another gym in Surfers Paradise for 8.5 years. And then started doing a little bit of online stuff when I was there too, towards the end of it, when I had my first daughter. And then, 2 years ago, I went out on my own and started JM Peak Performance. And yeah, here I am now.
Love it. The correlation between being a chef and the Thai boxing makes sense. Every chef I've met, I used to work in hospo. Every chef I've met, they're all absolute lunatics.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of mad dogs in the kitchen, man.
Yeah.
A lot of party-goers.
We had a head chef in one of the restaurants I was managing. He was South Korean, but when I first met him, he told me he was North Korean and he grew up in North Korea, and his mum and his dad managed to escape and like got under the fence, and his sister was still over there and he didn't know where she was. And I was like, fuck. And I was like, for the rest of my shift, I go, you heard about Jim's family? And he just came up to me at the end of the day, just pissing himself. He was lying. He's like, no, I'm from South Korea. My sister's in the Goldie as well. I was like, you fucker.
Yeah. It's a funny industry that one, you know. I'm glad I did it because obviously I learned how to cook and it's a big part of my business, you know, it's a big part of health. But, you know, you can work anywhere in the world at the drop of a hat. But, yeah, you're overworked, underpaid, underappreciated. You're working whenever, like Christmas Day, for example, you know, all your family and friends are out at occasions and you're cooking for them or cooking, you know, and it just sucks, man. And more people, I feel, are going to tell you what's wrong with their food rather than what's right with their food.
Yes, you bang on.
So it's quite a negative job in that aspect.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of people say in the past, a lot of people we speak to say exactly what you just said: underpaid, overworked, underappreciated. What did you have in you that made you make a change? Because so many people complain about those three things and just do fuck all.
Mate, I've still got chefs that I keep in touch with here and there from the last place I was at that are still complaining about that, and that's over 10 years ago, you know. But I guess, you know, people are scared of change. It is quite a scary. Some people are, you know, too deep into, you know, like mortgages and stuff to make that change. It's too scary for them. But me personally, I just got fit and healthy and I was like, this is not me, you know. The job I was at, I was working out of Royal Pines Resort in Carrara there, and the position I had was a permanent part-time, so you would get the full-time hours if they were there. You get your holiday, sick pay and stuff, but if there's no work there, they didn't have to give it to you. And it went really quiet, and I was like, what am I going to do here? I need to earn some money, and just thought, you know what? I'm obsessed with training. Like at that point, I just lost all my weight, was prepping for my first fight and stuff, so I was just lunatic about health. And I was just like, go do my course, and here we are.
There's a saying that I'm going to get this one right because it's only short. It's easy to connect the dots looking backwards. And what I take that to mean is when you're going through life and you're stacking on these different bits of experience, you weren't going, I'm going to be a chef because then when I'm going to be this online fitness coach, I'm going to be able to do, you know, you just stack up all these different parts and strings to the bow. And then you become to a phase in life okay, now I know how to cook good food. Now I'm into my health, my fitness and training. I've done a bit of Thai sport as well. Now I'm going to go give that value to clients. And you've got something now which the PT who might be next door, who hasn't got that chef's background, potentially hasn't got. So it's that kind of differentiator for you. Your business today, where would you say you provide the most value to the clients you work with?
I reckon the in-person service is where I provide the most value, obviously, because I'm in front of them quite a bit. Yeah, I had this idea where I just wanted to create this one-stop shop for people like that. So, because no one wants to see 4 different people for their health, and that person over there might have a different input to this. So people butt heads and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, I just wanted to create this one-stop shop, particularly for high performers, and just take control of their health.
What does all of that include then for your one-stop shop?
So basically, training. So it's a hybrid style model. So people like Simon, I see him 5 days a week, but then I've got clients I only see 3 days a week, and some that I see once a week. And those ones that I see less, they are online as well. And I was basically designed their training program to suit their goals, also like their posture and stuff. I'm really big on that. And then, we take a look at their nutrition, seeing what they're currently doing, what their goal is, doing things like I've got the blood test. I've got a blood work team behind me. So Dimmy from Path to Well, he's awesome. And he's also really good at the DNA testing. So we could do all that sort of baseline testing, VO2 max, body composition. So we've got some data to measure. And then, with the food, I have a chef who can prepare fresh made meals for those who don't cook, or the ones who do cook. We provide them meal plans. Body work, so massage, myofascial stretch therapy too. So, lots of that sort of treatment too. The people who are just online, I just create tension release and flexibility programs through the app. But the ones I'm seeing in person, I'm physically working on their body. And that's pretty much it.
I'm keen to dig into nutrition because that's one of the biggest myths, and probably one of the things I've always struggled with as well. Like we're from the UK, so back in the UK, it's cold all year. You can get away with having a bit of a shit rig,
A winter coat.
and then probably around, what would you say, Feb, March time,
People freak out for summer.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then start trying to rip up.
you've got the Magaluf holiday on the way.
That's our
and-
September.
Yeah, and you're on the 12-week summer shred, and it's not healthy. Like, for context, I used to drop myself to 1,500 calories a day, and I was doing time working as a roofer the one time I did it. So I was doing CrossFit and working as a roofer, probably burning 4,000 calories a day and eating 1,500.
Yeah.
I got shredded.
I was going to say, you look good.
But
like shit,
but you'd be carrying a pack of tiles up the scaffold to the top of the roof, and you get to the top, and the world would be spinning. And I'm like, this probably isn't too safe. So I'm keen to dig into nutrition, and probably let's aim this at someone who has absolutely no clue where to start. What would the common mistakes be that people make that you notice?
A lot of people, like in that case, undereat. Like, it's pretty common actually, but then there's also the opposite direction where they overeat. But people really try and complicate stuff too, when you really just got to simplify it. I think every single human should at least track their food for 1 month, to understand, to get a better understanding of what's going in. Just like with your business, what goes in, what goes out. And they're going to get a rude shock when they realize how much they're overeating or how much they're undereating. And you just got to really keep it simple and stick to the basic principles. And another one that shows up a lot is obviously protein's super important, but if you have to having enough protein, it's quite common that a lot of people don't eat enough protein. And so, example, people think, I need 200 grams of protein a day. I'm going to have 200 grams of chicken breast. And they think that's 200 grams of protein, but in fact, that's not the case. Like, one chicken breast might have about 30 grams. So you're talking, 7 odd chicken breasts a day to hit your protein requirement. So things like that. But I feel like people really just complicate it. And there's a lot of stuff online too, out there that can be misleading. And you just really got to simplify it, hit your macros. Like, you don't even have to be that fussy about breaking down each macronutrient, but just set a target, track your food for a good month, make sure your hydration is good too. That's another thing that people lack. Hit your protein, have some good complex carbohydrates, have fats, and make sure you're getting plenty of fiber. Just keep it super simple. But the biggest thing too would be just tracking your food to start and getting an understanding of where you're at.
The hardest part for me would be when I eat out. Say I'm going to go to a new restaurant.
Yeah.
You don't know what goes into the food as much.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to play devil's advocate now, do you just suggest like you don't go out to eat dinner? You've got to meal prep all your food.
Not at all. When I lost all my weight, I told you I became very obsessed, and I went full weirdo on like one cheat meal a week. You know, it had to be on a Sunday. You know, it was just too much. You know, you wouldn't really eat out, all that sort of stuff. But in that case, like what I do with my clients is I have like a build your own plate type method. So where I send them like a PDF that I've created to educate them on what to look for when you go out to a restaurant. Obviously, there's a bit of common sense involved too. Like, you know, if you're going to have, you know, fish and chips deep fried or something, like I think that's a pretty popular dish in the UK.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
You know, like it's probably not going to be the best option for you, you know. So I try and educate my clients around how to build a healthy meal. And obviously you can only do the best you can when you go out to restaurants. But if you're going somewhere, like choose the steak with vegetables and roast potatoes or something, you know, that might have extra oil on it and stuff. But hey, like it's better than eating junk.
People make a lot of excuses around things like that. I don't have the time. How do we help those people find the time? Or I don't have the time or budget. Like we're very fortunate here that we buy our lunches pre-made and we run it through the business, unless you work for the ATO. But someone that either can't afford that at the budget or doesn't have the time, how do you help those guys?
Again, people, they got to change their habits. So everyone's got time. You know, you just got to, you don't realize it yet. So and then when it comes to budget, you know, like I feel like people, they say they don't have time, they don't have budget because they genuinely don't want to do it. But if you get them, if once they get started and they start seeing a change and a result, they will find the time and they will also find the money. But yeah, like I've just lost it there for a bit.
I find your health's a really funny one because you say you can't afford to do it when actually you can't afford not to. Right? The money it's going to cost you at the back end if you're unfit, overweight, whatever it is far more than instead of buying a $10 shit frozen meal, spending $15 on something a bit healthier. That cost difference is nothing compared to spending all your money on fucking hospital bills as you get older.
So true. Yeah. Yeah. Like I'll have, particularly like with certain clients, I'll be like, what meal is it that you're struggling with? You know, so it might be lunches for someone. So you can, you know, go out and buy a pre-made meal for something like that. Just whichever meal it is that you're having trouble with, just get that one sorted for you and it's going to make things much better.
Yeah. In that case, then it's probably not even the time or the money. It's probably actually just a mental blocker for them to actually get over and accept or break down to actually go and make that change.
Exactly. No, like I said, no one wants to, like everyone's scared of change, you know, but a lot of the time on the other side of change is growth, you know, so get them started. And once they start seeing a result, they're going to have better energy. Their body composition is going to start to change. You know, that might actually, like I said, you'll find they'll be prepping their own food before you know it, and they'll find the money to do it. It's just not a priority to them, you know?
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think seeing the results kicks you on a bit as well.
It's so motivating.
It's so hard
because you always get you always get results at the start too, like quickly.
Yeah.
And then that can spark you to keep going.
Yeah. And then in terms of testing, so visually, right, you can see if someone's been working their arse off because they're going a bit shredded. Fantastic. But what other tests are there to do to actually know if what's going on inside the body is improving?
A body composition test is the best, by far, like the DEXA, you know. So I like clients to do those, but obviously you don't want to do a DEXA every single week. Like obviously that's going to cost a bit of money for someone too. So photos are a good measurement as well. And then, you know, measuring with a tape measure, you can do skin folds. There's many different ways. Yeah.
What does the DEXA actually go through?
It does it. So you basically lay down and it checks how much lean muscle you got in your body, how much visceral fat you got in your body. It segments to let you know how much muscle and fat you've got in your right leg compared to your left leg. So if you can see imbalances there, you know to work harder on your left side if you lack a muscle in that side. It tells you quite a few different things like that. Yeah, you've never had one?
No, I never have.
You should go do one.
We should.
How'd you do it?
Definitely.
Like,
There's a fair few places on the Gold Coast. I'll send them to you.
Yeah. Is it what kind of machine is it? Like,
it's like an X-ray machine, but it's like it's a low dose X-ray machine. So you just lay there. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes, and it just goes over you back and forward. And
I'll be keen on that.
Yeah,
we're in our health era at the moment.
Yeah, so I've seen on your podcast he's got 12 months off the drink or something.
Yeah, we haven't told many people. I'm surprised you know that.
I'll watch an episode before I jumped on. But.
Yeah.
12 months off the drink, so that's halfway through nearly now, or officially now halfway
Yeah, just
through.
over.
Bang on.
And did you start on the 1st of January?
Oh, I did.
I was going to say, did you blow out on New Year's Eve?
I started in a second.
That's what people tend to do. Like, you know, I'll start Monday. I'll eat all the shit in my fridge, and I'll start Monday when I feel like it the most.
I was a menace, mate. It was the New Year's Eve, and I knew obviously that was my last day or night drinking. So it got to like 3, 4 a.m. and people are trying to go off, and I'm like, "Don't you dare go anywhere. This is my last night."
But you're already failing because it's already on the first anyway.
Yeah, that's why I started on the second. So good.
What's changed for you since cutting that out? Like how often were you drinking? Like how heavy was it? And was it a
Weekend
daily
offenders.
thing? Weekend, yeah.
Massively. Like during the week, you know, not really, maybe 1 or 2 of a client or something, but we always were playing football. So it was always don't drink during the week, play the game, and then go harder. And as the back end of the year rolled on, we were, I don't know, burnt out that far, but we were definitely under the pump. Like we taken a bit too much on and we were feeling it. And I think we definitely turned to a couple of beers to disconnect a little bit.
Yeah.
The routine was just shit because then you're not training properly. You're not as conscious of what you're eating because you're not losing the productivity that you would be if you're training, if that hopefully makes sense. Like I look at photos now from January and I was a little porker. I had a little gunt on me.
Did you say gunt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that means belly.
Yeah. I also was fat as in January. Yeah, I looked at a couple before and after pictures.
Yeah.
You should have done a DEXA scan or something before, you know, like it'd be great to see that.
I did a picture, to be fair. I got a photo.
Okay, well, that's good.
That's kind of good. The DEXA would have been good. But I guess now if I did it, like I'm pretty happy where I'm at now. So I guess if I do it now, I've got a benchmark of where I know I'm pretty happy.
Yeah.
It was an interesting time the back end of last year. Like we don't drink loads, but the problem is when we do drink, like it's 0 or a million. And I think over time I've gone more towards that. Like when I was at uni, maybe had less or less serious blowouts because you just drink almost every day, which also isn't a healthy thing to do. But I almost trained my brain into a point of having no booze for a month or a few months, however long it would be, or in the week. And then when you do blow out, you blow out hard. So then your brain almost becomes used to the minute you have a beer, it just clicks into that mode of just going, let's absolutely tear the lid off.
Happens a lot when people do like a period of time where they're, you know, dieting or cutting out alcohol and stuff. When they get to that end date, they just binge and undo all the damage. So be careful of that. Hopefully you're creating the habits. What's your plan? Like are you 6 months in, are you feeling like that's it, you won't drink again, or you will?
We're having this conversation a fair bit.
Yeah.
I think it's good to not put that pressure on yourself saying you're never going to do it again, because when you do, you'll be really disheartened.
Yeah.
But, you know, you'll find it just doesn't serve your purpose.
We've got a good friend who's kind of going through the same journey with us. And he put it in a really good way. It was more so pleasure appreciation, or some smart way he put it, where I'm having a glass of red wine with my wife in Italy.
Yeah.
Right. That's very different to being at Mermaid Surfy on a Saturday with the boys, knowing that where it's going to end up. So because I'm on this beautiful glass of red, let yourself have that, because that's an experience you're going to share and it's a memory, as opposed to the 6th week in a row I'm sat in a kitchen table fucking doing the same shit.
Yeah.
But I also know myself as well. And I know that I need black and white guardrails as to what is allowed and what isn't.
Yeah.
Because I'm very good at negotiating and selling myself into the grey area, you know?
Like I said, when I lost all my weight, I became obsessed. Like I used to be pretty wild. I used to like drink all the time, party pretty hard, but again, I was unhappy where I was, you know. I wasn't happy being a chef and stuff. And anyway, I would binge every weekend, you know. And once I lost all my weight, I didn't have a drop of alcohol for probably 3.5 years.
Wow.
You know, I just went like obsessed. And it wasn't actually till I met my wife that she brought a bit more balance into me, you know. So I'm big on, you know, 80-20 rule.
Yeah.
Like you can, you know, because like if I think back to that time, like, you know, you become very disconnected with your friends and your loved ones. Like, and it's not that you should only be connecting through them through that, but I don't know, like you're human. Like if you enjoy it, like as long as it's not controlling your life and if it's making you go backwards, you need to take a look at yourself and make the change. But if it's like here and there, honestly, I don't think it's that bad.
That's the problem I'm finding at the moment, where I'm weighing up, do I go back to drinking or not? Because like Ad said, we need black or white.
Yeah.
Like it's very easy to go, okay, I'm going to have a more positive relationship with it, and I'll just do it once every 3 months. And then you do it once, and because there's no challenge or like a period of blackout, it's then easy to go, oh, last weekend I pulled up all right, so I'll do it this weekend. Yeah. And then all of a sudden it's next weekend, and then I'm back in this fucking mental health spiral. that was the reason that you go, oh, I'm going to quit for a year. That's been the difficult thing for me of deciding whether I want to do it again. Because then on the other hand, you know, we're planning my Bucks trip to Queenstown, and we're going to do a golf trip to Queenstown, and like one of my other mates has gone, there is nothing better than being on a golf trip with the lads, and you've got a 9 a.m. tee time, and you're all just pissing yourself with a beer on the first tee box. And I'm like, that is so fun, and that's what I lived for such a long time. So I'm like, am I ready to have a life where I don't do that anymore?
If you're black and white, I would say, cut it out. Yeah, because but yeah, special occasions only. You know, maybe do it and see how you pull up after it. Like if and you'll know in yourself if you want to continue to have that in your life or not.
Yeah. How did your wife bring balance to your life in that world? Because that's something we struggle with.
Call me a weirdo too many times. No. I'm not sure. Like, obviously, when you meet someone new, like you it's what you do. You go out and you have a few drinks and you have a bit of fun. And I don't know. Like, it's hard to say. Like, she just did. Yeah.
I want to talk about something that's illegal but common.
Oh, no, you.
Here we go. It's getting interesting.
Yeah, peptides.
Yeah.
You know where that was going, hey?
Yeah.
They're everywhere at the moment. On the paid ads on Instagram, on the news telling you that you're going to grow a second head if you take them as well. I guess, where do you stand on them? What's been your exposure to them, and what's the truth behind it, do you think?
I'm honestly not a guru when it comes to the peptides. You know, especially when you guys have had someone like Daniel Kirkbride on your podcast, like he's an absolute wizard when it comes to that. But, you know, I think as long as you're getting them from a good source, you know, and they're obviously illegal, so it's hard to know if you are or not. But some of them, you know, there's some of them out there doing really good things. You know, like you talk about the retatrutide and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, you know, there's ones out there that are designed to basically repair your muscles, like if you tear your muscles and stuff. So things like BPC and TB500, you know, I've done that personally myself when I tore a supraspinatus, and it helped. So again, yeah, it's a tricky one there. Like, it's huge. Like, it's so mainstream at the moment, and so what happens when things come out like this? People try and make a lot of money off it. So there would be a lot of crap out there. But yeah, I'm not a guru when it comes to that. Yeah.
Can I get a bit tin hatty for a moment?
Yeah,
100%.
It's kind of ties back in. We've just been speaking about alcohol, and I'm not for or against alcohol, but it fascinates me that we're in a world where the government will let us advertise alcohol all over our TV, all over these sports competitions. Like even watching the World Cup today, the ads, it's all hard solo, Maccas and things like that. They'll let us advertise fast food. They'll let us advertise gambling. All those things destroy our lives in very, very different ways. And, you know, going back to like the fast food and the alcohol, that's probably a bigger killer through things like heart disease and obesity than what
100%
peptides ever are. And yes, there's a certain element of peptides haven't been here for long enough. There's not enough studies. We probably don't know enough. So all the scientific side of things. But when you see like things like retatrutide, not only is taking people from obese or morbidly obese to a healthy weight, which decreases all of those things, which is really, really important. It's also being used in studies where it's shrinking cancer tumors.
Yeah.
But they're like this war on peptides. And then when you go even deeper, because they're naturally created things, it's because you can't patent it, and actually big pharma can't make billions of dollars off it. That's where I start to think they're fucking against us.
If you've got someone, like example, someone who's like so obese, I don't know, say 150 kilos, and you try and give them a gym plan to follow and a diet, they're not going to get there. It's their behaviors and habits that's got them to be that size. So if they can have something like, you know, your retatrutide, and that gets them to lose that first 10 kilos, that could be the spark that they need to go, you know. But back on that, you know, look at COVID for an example. Like, all the gyms were shut, but the bottlers were open.
Yeah.
You know, how's that work, you know? All gyms shut and then bottlers were open. You know, so, yeah.
I think people are becoming way more awake to this now. Like you see the 9 News post about retatrutide, six people have been hospitalized, and then people are commenting like, out of fucking 8 million people using it. And it's just like, don't believe anything the government say. Like, it's like everyone's becoming more aware and fighting back now. So we've got an interesting few years ahead of us.
What I'm not too keen on about it all is like, it's so people will say take retatrutide, but think they can still live that lifestyle. Where, you know, they're not changing their behaviors and their habits. And it'd be really sad that if that's how we identify losing weight now, you just go and have some injections. It's really sad. And, you know, like there's not enough talk about, you know, say someone who loses 10 kilos, like say maybe a GLP-1, you lose 10 kilos and 6 kilos of that's lean muscle. Like you pick a 40-year-old woman who's not, you know, who does that for an easy, quick fix, she ain't ever building that muscle again. And then when you lose, you know, lose muscle, obviously your bone density weakens, you know, it's going to mess your posture. And, you know, lean muscle is a huge factor of your longevity. So that's what's the scary part, you know?
It just goes in tune with everything that the world's becoming. Though, right? That silver
Everyone wants a
bullet.
quick fix.
Yeah, that silver bullet type mentality. I know the hard way and the way that's worked for years, but I'll jab myself over here and lose 10 kilos and off we go. It is sad, isn't it?
It is. Everyone wants the quick fix. No one wants to do the grind. Like think about your business that you build too, you know, like it's the journey. Like that makes it special. Then you got something to reflect back on, you know, it's the journey.
That's it. It's
the journey.
What's the Jimmy Carr one? It's not about the pursuit of happiness. It's about the happiness of the pursuit and the person that you become on that journey.
Yep.
Like that. I love that one.
Yeah.
How many people do you know that, you know, they've built success and got to a point where they can retire and then they go nuts or like they get bored, you know? So it's because they're not part of that journey anymore. You know? They're not part of that grind.
Yeah.
They end up starting something else.
When you think about the world we're in now and like people are just on such a quick dopamine or quick result kind of consumption chain, how do you help people stick to something for the longer term? Whether it's an exercise plan, nutrition plans. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Two Blokes, One Business podcast.
Now, apart from being world-class podcasters, we also run a recruitment agency called Harwell.
If you're keen to learn a little bit more about what we do, then head over to our Instagram at Harwell Group and check us out.
Back to the app.
It comes like, so I guess this comes down a little bit to like motivation and stuff. So like, obviously motivation is only there sometimes, yeah. And then obviously, I guess times in the year like we're going through now where it gets a little bit darker and colder, it's hard to stay motivated. But I guess really sitting down and working out what your North Star is and what it is that you're trying to achieve, working back from there, because there's going to be a lot of days where you don't feel like turning up and doing what you got to do. But if you can reflect on why it is that you're doing, your purpose or your North Star, that generally snaps you out of it and gets you moving, I find.
We do it in business so much, don't we?
Yep.
Like we'll sit down as business owners and we'll find out our real why. You know, mine might be my kids or our family back home, helping them. And you always create business values that everyone works towards. I don't think people do it enough for themselves and actually reflect, like, what do I want from life? What's my real why? And what are the values that drive me? We're about to sit down and do it as a family because we've got a 1-year-old daughter and a 3.5-year-old daughter. So it's trying to discipline them. And I think Britt actually saw this post, and it's instead of saying to the kid, don't do that, it's more like we have the Rivers cartel, right? That's our family brand, and we have our family values. So it's like, oh, don't hit your sister. It's like, no, the Rivers cartel don't hit other people. Like it's kind of changing the values as our kind of leading or the North Star. I don't think enough people do that for themselves to then find those real motivations to stick to the plans that we're talking about.
It's identity based, that, isn't it?
100%. 100%. Parenting is a tricky one. Like I've got a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old daughter as well. And like there's no book on how to do it. Each child's different. Like I bet your second one's completely different to your first one.
Opposite.
Yeah, and you know, so but yeah, it's crazy. I feel like kids are getting raised a lot softer these days too, you know. You know, we just got my daughter into a school and we had a meeting with the deputy principal, and what stood out really well, and I was like, where do I sign? She said, you know, kids are becoming really soft these days and we're trying, like, less resilient, and we're trying to sort of change that. And as an example, you know, in athletics carnivals, we've got first, second and third prize. There's no participation awards. You don't just get rewarded just for showing up. Kids have to learn how it is to work and for something, you know, and what it's like to lose.
That's cool. My wife's a primary school teacher, and it is crazy the amount of control and power that these parents have got now when their kids, like this kid could be 6 years old and just create some crazy little story about something a teacher's done. And then straight away, everyone chooses to believe the kid as opposed to the actual adult who's been to uni and studied and got a degree about what's actually happened in that series of events. Like it's insane. And the parents are writing these big, long emails about how they're going to go and sue and do this. I'm like, what about you guys working together as a team, the school and the parents, to raise these kids? And I think what it really comes down to is the parents don't raise the kids. They expect the school to raise them
Correct.
for them, and then get annoyed when the school do a bad job in how they're raising their own kids.
Yeah, it's a scary time to bring kids in the world, like the uncertainty and obviously things like social media, all that sort of stuff, like just all the constant comparing over there, and just it's a crazy one. But I still think everyone should have a kid because it's a special journey to go through.
It is cool. Yeah. Fuck, we used to just have it beaten out of us at our age. My mum will kill me for saying this, but if I was acting up, she'd chase me up the stairs with a wooden spoon in her hand, and I'd be like, fuck that. I'm not doing that.
Hey, what were the rules? Like, you be home before the street lights are on, and if you're home after that, you know about it.
Yeah. And just it was the fear of the consequence.
Yeah.
You didn't really necessarily get the consequence all the time, but you knew what was good and what was bad.
Yeah.
And you're very clear.
Yeah. You spoke about social media and how it's obviously we spoke about that in relation to kids, but in terms of the fitness industry, I see a lot of people online, social media influencers giving nutrition advice, selling exercise advice. When you get to the bottom of it, they don't have any kind of substance or story or qualifications behind that. Is that a massive risk for people at the moment?
Definitely. It's pretty sad, actually. A lot of people out there are just really good marketers, and you know, there's no talking about their success, but there's no talk about the churn they have in their business too, and the people dropping off because they've done nothing for them, or the injuries or the illnesses that people have got from following their programs, like in all these cookie cutter programs and stuff. Like it's really sad, you know. It's almost like the bigger the following you got, the better you are.
Yeah, and the more trust people have in you.
Yeah.
Which is not the correlation it should be.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. Why is it so important to have a specialized tailored program rather than just these cookie cutter approaches?
Well, obviously injury prevention, you know, it's tailored to you. Like, so, you know, you can just really cause some serious damage to yourself if you're not doing something that's designed for you.
I reckon I'm a high performer. I reckon we probably both of us are.
And humble.
I still feel the pressure of having the perfect lifestyle. That's having the right supplements. That's doing my breath work during the day as well as at night now, because my HRV is fucking shit. So I need more daytime recovery. Then I'm going to eat right, make sure I've got my macros in. Then I'm going to make sure I get for my 3 liters of water. You know, I train enough where you get a good body in, but don't train too much because then you stress your nervous system out.
Sound like you're stressed every day just trying to upkeep that, and that's what's probably ruin your HRV.
Dude, and then you know what? Waking up in the morning, look at my O-ring and going, fuck, I feel like I've slept well. Oh no, it's been shit. My fucking recovery is shit.
I steered away from the tracking devices for a while. I've got a Whoop, obviously, but for a while there because I didn't want to wake up and it tells me I've had a shit sleep, and you go, oh, I'm tired today, and you let it get to your head, you know. So, but no, they're awesome. Good to track your metrics and stuff. Get a little bit competitive with it, but don't become obsessed with it, you know.
And I think it's tough because naturally to be good at stuff, you stack things up, right? You do what works and you do a bit more, and you push and see how far as you can go. But then there comes a point where it's almost a bit of a burden, you know, and it's, what am I even trying to say here? Like,
you could stop enjoying it, or
and
it's exhausting as well.
It becomes a chore.
Exactly the feeling what it is. And I actually did a post about this in business as well. My whole brain works. I don't actually get a good feeling by achieving it. I don't get a bad feeling by not achieving it.
Say that again.
Mate? So rather than, let's talk about business setting, rather than us hit our big financial target, I don't feel good because we've hit it. I just don't feel bad. I don't feel not bad because we didn't hit it.
Yeah.
Does that make a bit of sense?
I think I know what you're trying to say.
So I've actually avoided the feeling of disappointment because we hit it, as opposed to feeling
that's your drive,
feelings of appreciation and happiness.
Yeah. It's fucked, isn't it?
That's no good, is it?
No.
It gets you to your target, so I guess.
Yeah, it gets you there. Fuck.
But that happens a lot. You know, people get to this journey or destination and they're just like, I expected it was going to feel different, you know, but it's not the case.
It can overwhelm you. Like, well, I was thinking it can be exhausting trying to track all those things. Like, we obviously had Dan on a few weeks ago, and super impressive. And we spoke to him after about working with him. And when I kind of sat down and reflected, I was like, at the moment, we've got so much happening with growing Harwell. We're about to launch a global online education business. 2 kids in the mixer. Like, we don't really have family around here, and I'm trying to stay fit and healthy with the gym. I haven't got not only the time but the headspace to try and take on anything else. And I have absolutely no doubt that the work that you do or the work that Dan does would increase my output and performance and health by a certain %. But I also try to think, what's the trade-off that I potentially lose by the mental capacity of trying to juggle all those different things and those metrics that you say as well?
Obviously, being ex-professional athletes too, you just want to push and get to the best you can be in everything, you know? But Yeah, in that case, it's like I would say try it, try going all in and see what happens. And you're probably either going to continue to do that or you're going to go, you know what, I'm just going to simplify it and go back to doing what I was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you bang on. It's so hard, isn't it?
It is.
I think I found the balance this year. I kind of said to myself, like, no fitness competitions or anything like that. Like, I ran the marathon last year and absolutely cooked myself.
Yeah.
So I was like, this year, I knew we were doing the no booze. I was like, just focus on self. Like, I still gym or train or run 5 or 6 times a week.
Yep.
Focus on your sleep. Don't drink alcohol. Eat good food. An 80-20 rule. Like, in the week, I'm pretty religious and work really well. On the weekend, I'll enjoy myself and just grow the businesses. And I'm like, for a year, just get into that rhythm, because I know it will improve everything. The no alcohol, the consistent training, the good eating, the business stuff. Like, I'll be a better person at the end of the year than when I started. And then if the businesses are at a point at the end of the year where perhaps we have bought some flexibility or time back because we've grown the team and things like that, then next year it's where I'll sit down with someone like Dan or yourself and go, okay, now let's take the next step.
Yeah, it's actually a really good point. Get the business to a point like you're still managing your health and looking after your health better than many people probably. So it's, you get your company to a position where you got a bit more freedom and then you can dial in that little bit extra. But do you get there then and you go, oh, maybe we can take the company to this stage. That's the part of the journey and the growth and the game, that you play. It's all a game for everyone.
Yeah.
Sleep, obviously massive part of your recovery. Right, in terms of good sleep and bad sleep, and I don't want to kind of oversimplify this, but what are some kind of must-dos and must-nots to improve your sleep if that's an area lacking?
Sleep is huge, honestly, and it's the first thing that most people sacrifice. It's pretty easy to do. It's free, and people sacrifice it before they focus on it. And then like things like what's the old saying? I'll sleep when I'm dead.
Yeah,
like, you will be dead if you don't start sleeping. I had this one client I used to train, and he's a funny guy, interesting dude, super successful guy. And, he had a whoop, and when we linked up on his whoop, I'm looking at his recovery. I'm like, what's going on here? He's red and yellow every single day. And he's looking at mine going green. He goes, you're not fucking working hard enough if you're waking up in the green, But, I also had another client who he listened to a keynote presentation from Brian Johnson. You obviously know who he is.
Yeah. Well, a lot of interesting cat.
Yeah. A lot of people got mixed reviews about him, but I think it's awesome that we get to live in this time that we're alive so we can learn from it. He's another one who was in corporate, burnt out, overweight, unhealthy, and just made the change, got in good shape and just become obsessed with it. But where I was going at is my client listened to a keynote presentation of him, and he says, like, think of the millions of dollars that he's spent on equipment and supplementation and routines and stuff to try and, reverse his age. He still says that the number one is sleep. It's the most important tool. But, just try not to eat too close to your bedtime. It's good to, 2 hours minimum, but ideally sort of 3 hours. Have a good sort of evening wind down routine. Like, I wear blue light blocking glasses from about 5:30 p.m. Or I think I'm an absolute weirdo. But making sure your room is like cool enough, because if it's too hot in there, it can affect your sleep. You can I even have a sleep mask that I wear, to try and darken the room out a little bit. But the big ones are not really eating close to your bedtime. Yeah, I find. Yeah. Alcohol, big no.
That's fucked,
completely ruins it.
Yeah. Sugar. That's a bad one for me, and that's why I try to cut it out Monday to Friday. I've got such a bad sweet tooth. Like, I'll have dinner and easily plow through half a block of chocolate.
Yeah.
I now, because I cut it out in the week. When I have it on the week, not even, I don't crave it anymore. I've kind of, the habit is stuck and I've got into the routine.
Break the cycle.
Yeah, and I've broke the cycle. But now when I do have it on the weekend, I can literally, it's like 8 o'clock and we'll have it. I can feel myself charging up because all the sugar's coming in. I'm like, oh boy. So then your sleep gets cooked. With fitness bands and things like that, obviously I wear a Whoop. Ad's got an Oura Ring. You've got a Whoop on. For someone that has absolutely zero clue over what to track and what they mean, can you summarize the top metrics that you think someone starting from zero should track, what they mean, and how they can probably improve them?
You mean like devices they could wear to track too, or?
Well, more so, the Whoop's pretty popular, but what are we tracking on the Whoops? Like, Ad's mentioned HRV and things like that.
The first would obviously be just the sleep, looking where you're at, prioritizing your sleep, seeing what your resting heart rate is too. And HRV is obviously important. Just lost myself there for a second. Sorry. Give me a minute.
HRV is a fucking bugger because it doesn't necessarily trend with your sleep. That's what annoys me. I could have a great sleep and look at my HRV and it's still dog shit. Or vice versa sometimes as well.
Yeah.
It's a tough one to nail down.
Mine's actually not that good either, if I'm honest. And
okay.
I find it's more mental stimulation for me. So having, dedicating the time each day to do some breath work or something and just sort of balance yourself out. But yeah, my score is not the best. And I find my real big days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, like I jam most of my, like 90% of my PT sessions in on those 3 days.
Yeah.
And it's all good now, but there was a period there where I was waking up under recovered and having a poor sleep. And I feel like it was mental stimulation because those days I'm on such a time shift where I've got to get from here to there and then back to there, relying on traffic. Because I'm like a mobile PT. I don't work out of a gym.
Yeah.
I go to all of my clients' houses.
Yeah.
And that sort of affected mine quite a bit.
Yeah.
They say too, though, like don't compare yours with yours. Like have your baseline and then do the things to try and improve it and work off that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I feel that one because I think it was at the time. It was when we went to the Titans game with Matt Sharma.
Oh, yeah.
Who's obviously an ex-NRL player, so naturally fit fella. And he's talking about his whoop and his HRV. He's like, yeah, man, my HRV dropped to 95 today. I went, what?
Yeah.
I was like, where does it normally sit? He's like, 110. I'm like, mate, if I get above 60, I'm buzzing.
Dude, yeah. 100%.
And then I was like, fuck, am I fucked? And then I started Googling
you
it.
were eating half a bar of chocolate or something.
Yeah.
Do you find you're someone who struggles to switch off a lot? Like you're like, even if you're not doing much, like sitting around, you're just constantly thinking about business pressure
100%.
and stuff. That's where I struggle a little bit. Like I struggle to switch off, always thinking about how I can provide for my family and the next move in business, all that sort of stuff. And without even feeling like it, it's messing with your autonomic nervous system.
I've got this horrible little trait now where rather than just scroll on Instagram, I just fucking speak to Claude.
Yeah.
And I'm just asking it, well, what if I did this? What if I did that? And then my brain is just firing opportunities.
You get excited.
How to solve problems. I'm so good. So yes, it's better than just scrolling and looking at shit on Instagram, but the brain is always absolutely firing.
Yeah.
Massively.
Yeah.
You do things like breath work and stuff.
Yeah, no, I've started doing it a lot more.
You should do it right before you go to bed.
Yeah, I actually do. I'll chuck a little YouTube video on or something, put my eye mask on, and then by then
even just do simple like box breaths, like just count to 10 box breaths. So 4 seconds in, 4 seconds hold, 4 seconds out, 4 seconds hold. Do that 10 times. That way you're not staring at it. You're probably just listening through YouTube, but it keeps you away from the screens and stuff.
Yeah. Even like some simple things like just like doing like reading a book for 15 minutes before I go to bed. Instead of being on the phone, I just get a book out and just for 15 minutes, it would just take the edge off it. By the 15th minute, I'm actually falling asleep.
Correct.
Whereas when you're scrolling on the phone, which is hard to do because that's just your system trying to regulate itself because you've had a stressful day, you put the phone away and you're just lying there for half an hour.
You get those little dopamine hits. Yeah. I read before bed most nights. I pretty much put my phone on Do Not Disturb once I get home, and that's it. It's family time.
Awesome.
Put the blue light blocking glasses on, and just have a proper wind down routine. My phone even is in the kitchen of a night time. Like I don't sleep with it in my room.
Yeah.
I set the alarm on my Whoop, and that's what wakes me up. But yeah, reading's awesome, but still being selective about what you read. I've found when I'm reading to upskill, it can pump me right up, like you're talking 100%. To Claude. So I find reading things like autobiographies and stuff, like things that switch you off. But you're right, you'll get through 10 pages and you've fallen asleep. Yeah.
Who was telling us that the right daily routine is actually to get up in the morning and read first up? Someone on this pod. So they're saying like because your brain is most active in that first period of the day. And it can actually, where people get up and have a coffee and it just starts to smash their receptors, actually getting up and waking your system up like that, but actually reading is one of the best things you can do in the morning.
Because your brain's rested, I guess. It's ready to take it on. You've got no head noise about what's going on for the day sort of thing. That's probably a big part of it. Why? What is your morning routines? Like what time do you wake up?
Yeah, normally
how do you start your day?
4:35, 5 a.m. gym. Finish, get home 6:10, walk the dog, smoothie, shower, supplements.
Yeah.
Off to work. And then home 5:30, walk the dog, and then normally cook dinner, chuck a show on, off to bed.
Yeah.
I'll get up 4:34.
4:34 to be exact,
Nah, 10 past 4, 4:45 gym class. Get home, get ready, come to work. I stack my day pretty early. Like if I can get to the office by 7, then I can make sure I'm home for dinner every night with the kids. And then the difference for me is I'll go home and it's like chaos. Sometimes work is easier because you go home in a good way, like home's chaos, but it's dinner with the kids and then it's bath time, bedtime, put the kids to bed, and then normally 7:30. And when you're up at 4:10, by 8:30, you need to be getting a sleep because you got to protect your sleep. So it's like you get that small 30 to 60 minute window at the end of the day where you try and wind down or do something like that, and then you rinse and repeat.
Yeah, I'm up at quarter to 4 every morning. Just being competitive there, you know. Just, I'll tell you what. When I left the last gym that I was at, and I went out on my own, I said I'm never doing a session again before 5:30 a.m. But here I am at the Mondrian in Burleigh at 4:45 a.m.
Good spot.
And but same deal. Like back to sort of the kids' routine. It is chaos when you get home of an evening. You know, I'm actually very, very blessed that my wife is amazing. Like she doesn't work. She's stay-at-home mum, and she does an insane job. And I'm blessed she doesn't put heaps of pressure on me to do all that sort of like stuff. Sounds a bit selfish, but she does let me sort of focus a lot on providing for the family. And so I'm in bed quite early. We put the girls down, 6:30, 7 the latest, and I'm straight into bed to read, and I'm asleep by 7:30.
Yeah.
And I can wake up, 3:45 with a full night's sleep.
Feeling good.
Yeah. I reckon it's one of the biggest traits of every single high performer I know. I'd say that 99% of them are awake before 5 a.m.
Definitely. Yep.
Yeah, I think you're right. I used to read that because I typically am a good sleeper. I could sleep for 9-10 hours, right? Typically. So when I was getting up at 7, I'm fucking bleary eyed, and I'm hearing wankers like, say you got to be a high performer. You got to wake up before 5. I'm going, no way. But now I am in this routine of 4:30s. There's nothing better than walking out the gym at 5:58 and seeing the 6 o'clockers walk in and go, you fucking losers. I do the same thing.
It sucks this time of the year though, man, because I'm at the end of my second session when the sun's coming up. That sucks. But during summer, like when you hit September or sort of the spring, it's nice when that sun's coming up early. It's very motivating. It's awesome.
Yeah. But then I think back to times when I was in England and you get up to do the 5 a.m. or 5:30 a.m. CrossFit session and it's -2 and you're in a warehouse and you walk in and the barbell has actually got frost on it. So when it does get tough to adjust for winter, but I'm like, fuck, it's been worse.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I sacrificed sleep for so many years. Like the last job that I was at, I was doing 60 odd sessions a week. That's when I had to make the change, man. Like I was out the door. I was up at 3:15 and I was in Surfers Paradise by 4:15, setting up the class before my first PT at 4:45. I'd do 12 odd sessions a day, just non-stop, and then get home. I wasn't tucking my daughter into bed a few nights a week, which sucked, and and just really sacrificing my sleep, and like the effect of it is just terrible. Damage your testosterone, everything.
Hard then, because I'm sure you've been making great money.
Yeah,
doing that. So then you
think you're killing it actually,
providing
because you're doing 60 sessions a week. You think you're the man, but then it comes a point you're like, actually, I'm not killing it.
Yeah, and then again, I've got kids, but imagine your daughter then isn't going, well done, Dad, you did 60 sessions instead of 50. She's actually going, hey, I wish you're here to tuck me in.
Yeah, daughter doesn't care. She wants presents.
Yeah, bang on. I've had a few days off this week, and I've been just enjoying a quiet life. Going down to Kira, walking along the path, not switching off fully. Like the phone would ring, and I would speak to a few people, and then get home and get the laptop out for a couple of hours and do bits and pieces. I do believe, mate, we can get to this point where we could just do a 6-hour day of actually focused deep work and be more productive than running around like fucking twats like we do at the moment.
Yeah, I think it's coming. But the beautiful thing is, and there's a lot of people listening to this podcast that are probably at the start of that journey, that's the end goal. And one, you don't get to that end goal without going and doing the graft and the crazy 100%. Hours. And it doesn't need to be like crazy hours of like, you're in the office till 9 at night. Like I used to go home at 4:30, do bedtime, bath time, and then get back online if we needed to. So it's not in that sense, but you do the graft, and I think you look back on the graft and you've enjoyed it. It's been part of the journey. I think when you get to that point where you can work 5 or 6 hours a day because you've done all the graft, it's like that delayed gratification where it just feels that little bit sweeter.
100%. It's all part of the grind, and like probably won't get there unless you do those hours. Like you got to do those hours. It's all part of the journey. If it was easy, everyone would do it.
Yeah,
and same with your health. Like if it was easy, everyone would do it. It's a grind. There's so many days that you don't want to turn up and do it, but you got to.
Yeah.
Mate, to wrap it up, if there's going to be someone who's listening to this and they're going, I'm in okay Nick, or I'm bad Nick and I want to get into good Nick, like where do they start? What's the first step for someone like that to start that wheel of motion to getting themselves in better shape?
I'd say like doing a little personal audit on your current life, like your situation, like what it is you're currently doing, what it is you want to achieve. And then, it depends like on the individual. If they've got a budget to get someone like a trainer, outsourcing doing that. But if they're doing it their own, just doing your research online and sort of, creating some sort of system, but just seeing, you just got to work out what it is that you want to achieve and then making a plan from that.
Love it. We've covered a lot there, gents.
Mate, I've really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Some legal, some illegal. That's what we want.
Tin hat.
Mate, if people want to reach out to you, either to pick your brain or see how they can work with you, where do they best find you?
Just on Instagram, JM Peak Performance. Yeah, or I've got a website too, jmpeakperformance.com.au.
We'll chuck this in the show notes as well.
Awesome.
Thanks for coming on, mate.
No worries.
Thanks, James.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Hey guys, it's Jake and Lockie from Naturally Cooked Sunscreen, and we are pumped to be sponsoring the Two Blokes, One Business podcast.
We're on a mission to foster a generation of Australians who take sun safety more seriously and encourage it amongst their mates. You can find us at naturallycooked.com.au or follow us at Naturally Cooked Sunscreen.